go, everybody knows your pain.
Welcome into another edition of the Dad Bod Fantasy Squad. I am Rob, and I'm here with Alex tonight. Mario still has the vid. Alex, how you doing, buddy? I haven't seen you in a little bit. It's been a couple weeks.
Yeah, man. I last week, I'll say Thursday, right? Like pretty much right after the podcast, I packed my stuff, went to Nashville for 3 nights, had a great time. But yeah, man, you've been busy on Thursdays or sick or something.
Yeah, it's been an interesting couple weeks. That's for sure. Seems like everyone's getting sick. Everyone's kind of getting hit with a ton of stuff, whether being sick or just a bunch of extra stuff on the side. But we made it tonight. It's just me and you, no Mario, which I'm so happy. Finally, I don't have to do a podcast with that kid.
I don't have to look at his permed hair anymore. Just can't do it anymore.
It's perfect every time. I don't know
so
what
wavy.
He does. It's feathered like White Goodman. Let's get into the news. So what we're gonna do tonight? Obviously, it's Christmas Day. We have the first game of the season tonight, so we're gonna try to get you guys out of here definitely before 8:00, so we can all hit kickoff. We're going to talk about some of the sit start players that we kind of thought might be interesting to go over. Some players that you're kind of questionable for your flex, or maybe your wide receiver 2, RB2, that you just don't know if it's a good matchup. So we're going to get into that, but let's get into the news to start off. So Zach Wilson won't be ready by at least week 4, so they're going to go with Joe Flacco. Does this do anything for that offense in like Breece Hall, the wide receivers? Does this hurt anybody? Does it help anybody?
I mean, who knows? That's the real thing. I mean, we've seen
good question.
It's limited games from Zach Wilson. He's had a couple games where he looked pretty good. He's had some games where he looked like the worst quarterback in the NFL. So Flacco, you kind of know what you're getting. What I will say is this is the best receiving core Flacco's had in a while. So it could make things interesting.
That's a good question, right? So what if they start off on fire? What if Flacco's lighting it up?
He's
throwing
4-0, you stay
Flacco.
Right.
I mean, it's such a Flacco thing to do.
Yeah.
That he would come in and just light it up. Maybe they go 3-1.
Keep playing Flacco,
Zach Wilson's ready. Like, man, that's a tough. That would be such a Flacco move.
Yeah.
But let's keep it rolling. For me, I think it's too early to tell. Any deep threat receiver, obviously we know Flacco loves to chuck it. So if anything, that might help them out. Who we got there? Corey Davis? That would be their deep threat.
I'm actually, I think that's a sleeper.
Yeah. I think it's a DFS play, if anything.
Yeah.
I don't think I would touch him in, your regular fantasy league, but DFS, while Flacco's there, I think it's a sneaky play because he could have some big games just on a couple balls from Flacco. He'll find
100%.
Yeah. Interesting news out of San Fran. So Kittle is dealing with a groin injury, and it seems pretty significant. That's everything that I'm seeing. What do you think about this, Alex?
I think anytime there's a groin injury, it's pretty important. They're just nagging injuries that just seem to never go away. And Kittle, he's not had a ton of major injuries, but he's just always got those nagging injuries.
He's always nicked. Yeah, I agree. For me, when I saw it, I was kind of like, San Fran's playing the game. They're gonna say he's questionable every practice for the rest of the season, which is what they always do. There's always those players that just always have that question mark. But all the reports out of there, it seems like it's a legitimate injury, and he is it's a real possibility he might miss week 1. And if he's missing week 1 with a groin, that could be problematic moving forward into the season because it's right up against the start of the season, which sucks. You'd much rather have this happen at the beginning of training camp.
Hurts Trey Lance a lot.
Yeah, that's a good point. That hurts Trey Lance. You think it helps Debo and Brandon Ayuk?
No, I think Debo maybe. Ayuk, I don't know. I think if Kittle's out, you can just literally force Trey Lance to try to throw the ball.
He might be running a lot more.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They're going to try to force him to throw the ball. So they're going to just load that box. They're going to load it up.
Yeah,
I think
that's true. It could hurt the run game. In San Fran.
Dude. Kittle's out.
Interesting.
Big hurt.
Interesting. Yeah, it sucks to see that because Kittle. Everyone had high hopes for Kittle and Trey Lance. I know I do. Allen Lazard, he got stepped on last week. He's definitely questionable for week 1. It seems like it's not going away. Whatever. There's no real. This is the injury on him. But he is definitely in danger of missing this game, which sucks because everyone kind of, again, it's another player that people had such high hopes for starting off wrong, which sucks. What do you think? Do you think this long term, do you think this could be a problem with him and A-Rod moving forward? Or do you think it's just like week 1, kind of sit him out and see what happens week 2?
I don't know. I mean, what I've noticed, and I don't understand why, I guess it makes some sense, is if you're a 6'4" receiver and you get a lower leg injury, you've just got to add like more time on it. So whatever you think the normal recovery time is, if you're 6'4" and it's lower leg, you're longer than normal time. That's
a fair point.
Every time.
Yeah. Van Jefferson's gonna miss tonight's game against Buffalo. I don't think that's super significant. It might hurt Stafford a little bit, if anything. He's just kind of steady Eddie there. He's reliable. Yeah. He's a very good blocking receiver, so it could, I guess, kind of hurt the running backs. But
I think it hurts the running backs.
Yeah, if anything, it could definitely hurt them a little bit. We'll get into Stafford later because I got some questions on him for this game. Miles Sanders seems to be he's going to play. He seems excited, ready to roll. I'm staying away from that backfield at all costs. That's my personal opinion. I want nothing to do with any of them unless Kareem Hunt gets traded there. So that's kind of my opinion on that whole subject. And do you like anyone in that backfield? They just picked up Trey Sermon. It just seems like
I like Miles Sanders this year.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah, I do.
He's got lots to prove.
When he plays, he's good. He's above average when he plays. It is literally an injury thing. He is running behind a top 5 offensive line. He's got a top 10 defense. They're going to want to run the ball. I don't think they're going to sling it just because they got A.J. Brown. So I'm big on Miles Sanders. So if he's healthy, he's a dog.
Yeah, I know Mario's definitely ticking up Kenneth Gainwell.
For sure.
I like Gainwell. I did last year as well. I kind of had him on a lot of my teams last season just because I liked what I saw from him.
It's good.
And I like Miles Sanders. It's just one of those backfields, man, that like it's kind of like a San Francisco backfield to me where it's like 1 week, one player might go off. The next week, it could be the other player. It's just so unpredictable. So I'm going to stay away from that. But you get all the Miles Sanders shares you can. And if I had one, I would trade it to you. Irv Smith is expected to start, which is great news. I think, again, a lot of people had high hopes for him this season, but it sucks that he missed all of training camp. If I have him, I wouldn't play him week 1. Right. I would for sure wait to see what it is, unless he's like, you have to. But for me, it's one of those players that I want to see him produce a little bit, like the first 2 weeks, and see how it plays out. He might be a sneaky pick if he's in your waivers. Maybe pick him up if you got, if you got a spot, if you got an IR spot and you can kind of move somebody to IR, I'd pick him up. He's worth a flyer. The talent is there. He's good. It's just, can he stay on the field?
Right.
So, and that offense will throw the ball a ton. We've talked about at nauseum. Cowboys. I saw this today. I don't know if it's true. Cowboys are expected to split carries between Zeke and Tony Pollard. That's what my prediction was at the beginning of the offseason. I truly think that's what will happen this season. And if it is, I'm going to be so happy because I have Tony Pollard on every one of my teams, and I'm excited for what will happen. What do you think about that? Do you think this is true? You think it's noise?
100% it's true. I think it's true. You got to think about this like from this aspect. They paid Zeke a ton of money. They don't want to just run him in the ground when they have a team that can win. So they're going to want to keep him as healthy as possible. That's a playoff team. I mean, that division, it's up in the air. So you want Zeke as healthy as possible, and you have Tony Pollard, who has performed just as well or better than Zeke. So they should split the carries, keep them, both as healthy as possible while winning games.
Yeah, I agree. I think they'll both get like 12 to 20 touches, depending on who kind of has that hot hand. And I think they'll both get a good amount of pass opportunities. Again, like who's Dak going to throw the ball to? There's CeeDee Lamb, there's Dalton Schultz, and a whole lot of question marks.
100%.
At that second wide receiver spot, Dak has rapport with both these running backs. They're both very good pass catching running backs. I think they both could get a ton of looks, and I think they're both great plays. Like, I can't hate on either of them, especially where you get them at ADP. Like, if you got Zeke in the 4th round, man, like, power to you. Like, I was afraid, but it's still, how can you go wrong with that value?
Right. No, I like Cowboys aren't complete idiots, and I like Pollard a lot this year.
I agree with that. I 100% agree with that, man. I think they're going to do what they got to do. I mean, I don't think he's on the hot seat. The head coach there,
McCarthy.
Yeah. McCarthy. I don't think he's on the hot seat, but
he is.
He's got to prove something, right? He has to prove something.
He's 100% on the hot seat.
He's got to get into the playoffs. Like Jerry Jones, for what he's up there in age, man. Like he wants a Super Bowl. The dude is going to do whatever he can to get a Super Bowl. And if he ain't producing, like this could be, he might not have it after this season. So this is the slate of games this season. Tonight, obviously, first game of the season, we got the LA Rams against the Buffalo Bills. I cannot wait to watch that game.
Oh, dude, I'm excited.
Let's speak on that one real quick. Is there anybody in this game other than like the big boys, right? Other than Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen? Like, are there any guys here, like a sneaky play that you think could come in out of nowhere?
I think I don't know if it's necessarily sneaky, but I think it is a little bit. I think if you are loaded at receiver in fantasy, but you have A-Rob, this is the week you throw him in. I think
A-Rob.
I think he has a big game. I mean, I'm not high in Cam Akers week 1. Stafford's going to be fine. I think A-Rob has a big game week 1.
I like that call. I do. I think, yeah. If you took them, I think by the time redraft and your home league started up, I think A-Rob was kind of going up there 5th-ish round, around there. So he's probably your wide receiver too. Maybe you went wide receiver heavy. He could be your 3rd wide receiver option, but you're probably going to throw him in your flex regardless.
Yeah.
I like it. I think he could have a fantastic season, man. He could be one of those players that we're going to look back and be like, how the hell did we let him slide to the 5th round? Like, what were we doing? It could be that kind of season for him.
It could, for sure.
Just how much they throw and how much attention will be thrown onto Cooper Kupp. They're gonna have to find that second guy that will wreak havoc. Otherwise, they're not going to get to the Super Bowl again. So if it's Allen Robinson, man, he could be that guy. He could be that guy. What are your thoughts on? So you don't like Cam Akers? I agree.
Yeah.
I will not touch him this game for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Darrell Henderson. Is he a play? Is he
I think,
are we fading this running back room? Especially, again, I mean, the Buffalo Bills, one of the best defenses in the league. So you got to take that.
Arguably the best defense in the league.
Yeah.
So if I don't have to play either of them, I'm not. Historically, Thursday night games, I don't think they typically do very well, especially early on. I think if you do take it back, it's Henderson just for 3rd down opportunities, and Cam Akers, I don't think he gets the snap load that he would normally get starting off. But, I really don't want either of them unless I have to week 1.
Okay. Now let me throw this at you. I've been thinking about this one a lot because you got one of the best cornerbacks in the league. He's gonna shadow Stephon Diggs, right? The whole game.
Yeah.
Gabe Davis, it's still a very good secondary. He's going to probably be a featured target, I would think. And what about Isaiah McKenzie? There's going to be a lot of throwing in this game. It's going to be tough for Stephon Diggs to get open, even though he will get his target share. He's going to get it. But the other two guys, they might see a lot more action this game specifically than in future weeks. Yeah. Singletary?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you're ready to roll him out tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, I love it. That's a call. That's a bold call.
They know where Aaron Donald is, and they're not going to be able – when it comes to pass protection, they're not going to be able to do much.
Yeah.
I think they want to keep the ball out of Stafford's hands as much as possible. So they're going to – I'm not saying they're just going to go completely run heavy, but I think Singletary has shown that he is a very capable back. He did look a little bit better than Cooks. So I think this is a big game for him. I think he starts off with a big game.
I agree. I think this is for that backfield specifically, because it's going to kind of show how confident are they in Cook.
Yeah.
Like, are they going to actually trot him out there? Is he going to be on the field 50% of the snaps, or is it going to be heavy Devin Singletary? Because if it's heavy Devin Singletary, that's a steal where you got it. A steal.
Yeah.
I'll all in on that. Let's get into some of these start sits that we've been talking about getting into. So questionable start sits for week 1. There's a lot of players we can get into. If you guys are listening, if you're live with us, throw in some questions. If you have them, we'll go over them. But we just kind of handpicked a few people, and we'll go over a couple more as we're going through this whole thing. So quarterbacks, there's not a ton to kind of go over unless you're in a 2 QB league. Then you can kind of get into the nitty gritty with the Justin Fields, Tua Tagovailoa, Trevor Lawrence's, but we'll kind of stick with the QB1, which is the standard deal for redrafts. These were 4 players that I noticed a lot of people kind of getting them together. I saw a ton of this. So this is why I kind of picked these 4 for this specific reason. Because if you went with, Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, they're going to be your starter the entire season, right?
Right.
Now I'm talking about if you kind of did a QB fade, you got Aaron Rodgers, you got Kirk Cousins, some of those players. These are the guys that kind of get grouped together that you're going to be kind of questioning week to week. So Derek Carr, Kirk Cousins, Aaron Rodgers, and Matthew Stafford. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a ranking on where you think they're going to fall for the first week. I know it's tough, but you got Derek Carr. He's going against the Chargers. Kirk, Green Bay. A-Rod obviously is going to go against Minnesota then. And then you got Matthew Stafford tonight against Buffalo.
I'm probably going, and I'm ranking who's going to finish the best out of them.
Correct.
Yeah. 1, I'm probably going to go with Stafford. And then I'm probably going 2 with Carr, 3 with Cousins, 4 with Rodgers.
Interesting. Okay, so let me ask you why you went with Stafford, number 1.
I think they're just going to throw the ball a lot. I mean, that defense is so dominant, and I don't think they're going to be able to get much going in the run game. So I think they're going to have to throw it. I think it ends up being a higher scoring game, even though I think Buffalo does run the ball a lot. I think Allen Robinson has a big game. Cooper Kupp is still going to be Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
It's all about efficiency, but I like it. It's more of a gut feeling with Stafford. I think just all the talk about him possibly having elbow issues and is this going to be lingering? I think he comes out slinging.
It's fair.
Rodgers, to me,
it's who's he
throwing. Right. And with Rodgers, who's he throwing to? We don't.
I agree with that. I think A-Rod, for me, A-Rod this season is going to be very interesting just to kind of see.
Right.
Yeah, he's got Allen Lazard, Robert Tonyan. He's got his running backs. Who's going to –
But you named Lazard and Tonyan like they're like Pro Bowlers. They're not.
I agree.
So that's
100%.
why it's like,
I
who
agree
does
with
he
you on
have?
that. That's a fair statement. It's my question. I don't think there's any question on how good Aaron Rodgers is. He's gonna get his yards. He's gonna get his completion percentage is still gonna be
Right.
one of the best. His interceptions is gonna be one of the lowest in the leagues. It is what it is. My question is, where are the touchdowns? Because that's what he has been very dependent on the last few seasons. Is he's had 40, 50 touchdowns because of Devontae Adams.
Yeah. Not a big
Who's
yards
going?
guy.
It could be Lazard. He's a big-bodied receiver, jumps out of the roof. It could be that guy. I hope it's that guy. If it's not that guy, he could have 25 touchdowns, and we're talking QB 18. You know, he could be one of those players.
It's
I don't
especially
know.
week 1 with Lazard, having an injury. So
Yeah.
that's why I had to rank him last. It's just
I
your
like
best
it.
players out more than likely are going to be hampered.
Yeah, I think for me, I would put Derek Carr number 1. I think that's another game that it's going to be a throwing monsoon. They're both of those teams are going to put up 40 points. I think it'll be back and forth. Again, I'm super high on Derek Carr this year, as long as Kirk Cousins too. But Derek Carr, I'm higher. I think he's going to throw for a ton of yards, ton of touchdowns, especially in this game against the Chargers, because he's going to have to if they have any chance of winning. And even 100%. If they don't win, there's going to be garbage time where he's going to be chucking the ball up. So that's why I'm high on Derek Carr this week. I think it go deep for me. It'd be DC. Stafford and Kirk are very flip floppy for me, and then A-Rod. That's where I would kind of land on these guys.
Yeah. So the consensus is we both, it's like Carr. You had Carr 1, I had Carr 2. So if you guys are listening, Carr's a strong play.
Carr's a strong play. Stafford's a good play. I'm nervous. I'll say that. I'm nervous about Stafford. Just maybe I'm a sucker for those rumblings about his elbow. I don't think I'm more nervous for later in the season. I just think this defense is very good. It could be tough. It could be tough for them to move the ball. I wouldn't be surprised if this game was one of those like 21-17 games that like nobody saw coming just because the offense is just so prolific. But on the flip side, both of these defenses are awesome too. So it could just kind of be a back and forth of like, we can't get our offense going. And it's just punt. I wouldn't be surprised if I saw that. But I can definitely see, again, I could see a 40-38 game. Like it's a tough one for me to kind of call.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at with that. Let's get into some running backs that I was curious about. I wanted to get your opinion on a few of these guys. So everyone knows my love for Dameon Pierce. I'm going to sit this one out. I think the dude's a stud. I think he's going to be awesome, but I get the reservations. Antonio Gibson against Jacksonville. I found that an interesting matchup. Breece Hall, his first game against Baltimore, and then Tony Pollard against Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
So these four guys, I have a ton of Tony Pollard. I said I have, for some reason, I was never high on Breece Hall this offseason, but I have a few shares of him. Dane Pierce, I got Antonio Gibson. I have 0 shares. I'm fine with that. But out of these guys, who do you like the best? Who do you like the least?
I think if I'm doing start sit, I'm starting Gibson and Pollard and sitting Hall and Pierce.
Okay, I like that call. Pierce, I'm not afraid to start him. I think he's gonna get a lot of work. It's a tough defense, though, man.
You should be scared to start.
It's a tough defense. Yeah, it's a tough defense.
They're gonna be throwing the ball, man. Matt Ryan's about to light it up game 1, and JT's unstoppable. Remember, Houston is still a bottom 3 team.
We'll see. I think they're going to be a little better than people give them credit for. But I get it. Yeah, he very well could come up with 10 carries this week just because they had to throw the ball the whole second half of the game because it was away from them.
10 for 20.
Yeah. Get out of here, dude. Maybe 10 for 150 and 2 tutties.
Okay.
All right. So Antonio Gibson, I have not been shy this whole offseason about speaking out. I am not in on him at all. I think he's not he's okay, but I don't see it. I don't think he's going to be that great, and I don't see him kind of progressing through where he should be in season 3. I mean, he was, I think, a receiver coming out of college. They put him in the backfield, and he's having some issues kind of, holding on to the football and the goal line stuff like that. So I just don't see the progression. But if I do have him this game, especially, I'm going to start him because I think this is one of the few games where he's going to have some serious value. He could come away with a good amount of points for you. Breece Hall too, for me. Yeah, I agree with what you said. I would sit him. I need to see it. I want to see week 1, the timeshare between him and Michael Carter. Especially now that Zach Wilson's not there. How is this playbook gonna look? Is it gonna be pass heavy? Is it gonna be dump off heavy? And if it's dump off heavy, is there a lot more Michael Carter than Breece Hall? It's gonna be an interesting game to kind of watch. That's one I have circled. I want to watch that game.
Oh, for sure.
Especially both offenses. I want to see how they kind of look, but especially the Jets.
Yeah, I want to see Baltimore destroy the Jets. I'm just so excited.
It's going to be a beatdown.
Yeah,
but
beatdown.
Yeah, I'm curious. That's it. So that's another one, right? So if it's a beatdown, say the game gets out of hand, is Breece Hall in there? No. In the 3rd and 4th, like what? How is this offense going to look? Because that'll tell you. Like they're not. I don't think they're going to be in too many games this season. So how is the offense gonna look if it is a blowout? Maybe he's sitting and they just have Michael Carter in there getting all the kind of cleanup dump offs. It'll be interesting. Yeah, I'm in on that. I want to see that. Tony Pollard. The only reason I'm scared is because it's Tampa Bay. It's the only reason I'm scared. But I think he'll get a ton of work in the passing game this game. They're gonna have to throw the ball. They're probably gonna be playing from behind in the second half. He'll be out wide. He'll be in the backfield getting jet sweeps. So I'm excited to see what he can do this season. And this is the first one. So I have Tony Pollard and Breece Hall in one of my leagues. And I'm going to sit Breece Hall. And I'm going to start Tony Pollard.
Yeah, I agree. I
think that's the move.
Yeah. You don't know who's going to be the number 2 receiver for the Cowboys, especially week 1. Tolbert's looking like he's had issues. It's not clicking for him yet. So we heard and we saw Pollard lining up in the slot at receiver early on in training camp. I think Pollard's going to be a big play, man. I hope. I love seeing him with the ball in his hands, man. He is fun to watch.
He is. He's just one of those players that when you're watching the Cowboys, man, he just jumps off the tape. It's crazy. You just notice him.
Yeah, he's so good.
Yeah, he's a beast. Is there any other running backs that you kind of want to bring up that you're kind of flip-floppy, kind of not sure where to go with them?
I mean, for not sure, like Miles Sanders is healthy. I'm playing him week 1.
Okay, so if you have Miles Sanders, so you're filling your RB2 spot.
Yeah.
You got Miles Sanders, Antonio Gibson, and Tony Pollard.
If it were me, I'm probably going Miles Sanders. Yeah. And then I'm probably going Gibson, then Pollard.
It's crazy for me to say this. I think I would go Gibson, Pollard, Miles for me. Just because Sanders missed so much time that I don't know how quickly they're going to work him back into the playbook.
Yeah, I like my Sanders.
You know what I mean?
Miles
like
Sanders,
it could be kind of a slow burn getting him back to speed.
I think he knows the offense. He's been there. I think it's one of the things, like, if you're healthy, you're fine.
True. That's true. What about the other guy that I've kind of been thinking about a lot is J.K. Dobbins.
He's been injured too.
Going against the Jets. Kind of been in and out. He's supposed to play.
I'd play him.
You probably use pretty decent capital.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, hopefully you had J.K. and you were able to back him up with, like, a Tony Pollard or, one like Kareem Hunt or something like that. Are you actively trying to sit him if you can?
No, I mean if Dobbins is healthy too, it's a running team. The Ravens are a running team. While I still think Lamar Jackson might throw for the most yards he has per game in his entire career this year, it's a run team. Dobbins was very, very good when he was healthy. I'm not saying that I'm like, this is my guy, this is a must draft guy, but if he's healthy, dude, all he's done is play well. And it's the
Yeah.
Jets.
I can't argue that. It is the Jets, and they're probably, again, we kind of just talked about it. They're probably going to be up a lot in the second half.
Yeah.
They're just going to try to pound the ball down their throat, run the clock out, get out of there without hurt. That's another reason I'm kind of hesitant on JK this week, right? If they're up a ton, I cannot see him being on the field at all. It wouldn't make any sense to me.
No, it wouldn't.
If they're up by 20 at half, I think he sits the second half.
Yeah, but I think him getting up 20, if they're up 20 and a half, I think Dobbins has been a big part of that.
That's fair. Okay, so those are our running backs. Again, if you guys are watching, if you got any questions for your start sits, shoot them in the chat and we'll go over them. Let's get into some receivers that I found interesting. Michael Thomas, Saints are going against Atlanta. Amari Cooper, I couldn't find a Browns jersey. Sorry, people. He's in the Cowboys. Brownies are going against Carolina. Juju Smith-Schuster against Arizona, and Devonta Smith against Detroit. Alex,
if Michael Thomas plays,
sits.
Yeah, if Michael Thomas plays, my
All
starters.
indications are he is.
Yeah, my starters are going to be Michael Thomas and Juju Smith-Schuster. My sit's going to be Amari Cooper and Devonta Smith.
Are you just actively sitting Cooper until you see something with him and Brissett, or until week 12?
No, I think you just have to see if Brissett's going to be able to be capable of getting him the ball. So I like Cooper. I think he'll have plenty of chances. Brissett's never been a high completion guy, and he's not a guy who throws the ball downfield well enough. So I don't know. I have almost zero faith in Brissett, but that's the only reason. If he does, grossly, this is. But Juju is good. He can run routes, and now he's got Patty Mahomes throwing him the ball.
Yeah,
it could be scary how good he is on this offense.
I'm excited to see it.
Yes,
I am.
I'm very hopeful for him.
I have 0 shares. I'll be honest about it. I didn't get him in any draft. I didn't actively try to get him. I didn't actively try to not get him. It just kind of fell that way in my drafts that he went before I was ready to take him. I want to. That's another game that I have circled. Is what is this Kansas City offense going to look like? Who's going to be the guy? Is it gonna be a very spread out approach where everyone gets 5 or 6 targets? Because that would suck. Who is gonna be the alpha in that receiving room? It very well could be Juju. And if it is, man, would he be he could be a league winner. He could.
Oh, 100%.
Any of those receivers could be a league winner. It's just 100%. Like, who's going to be the guy?
Right.
Kelsey's going to get his. Kelsey's going to be top 2, top 3 tight ends, as always. But then who's going to be that second guy? So that's an interesting one to watch. Yeah, Devonta, man. I have hopes for him this season. I think he could be very good. I'm not willing to play him week 1 just because I don't know what this team's gonna. You just said it, man. It could be very run heavy, especially with Jalen back there. He could get a ton of rushes. They could throw the ball 20 times and come away with a 20-point victory.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. I think I'm with you on that, Michael Thomas. Who's your number 1?
Sorry, you kind of froze.
Or Juju? Sorry. Out of these 4 receivers, who would be your number 1 play?
Week 1, Schuster.
Schuster?
Yeah.
Okay. I think I'd go with Michael Thomas.
I feel it.
I'm
starting
it.
I'm starting Thomas.
I understand I understand where people are coming from, where they're kind of nervous for sure. I get it. Like, he hasn't done anything in 2 seasons. Could say the same thing about Saquon Barkley. I think Thomas will look good. And I think it will kind of look like it did. It obviously won't look like it did with Drew Brees, because Drew Brees was one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game. Now he's got Jameis Winston throwing him the ball. But I still think Jameis and this offense will try to focus Michael Thomas and get his confidence up after 2 years off.
100%.
He could easily come away with 12 targets and 10 catches.
Yeah.
Mario, God, Mario's slandering Michael Thomas on the chats. So
I thought he was spelling like empty. I'm like, are you sick? Is it the vid? Are you throwing up your stomach empty? What's it?
we'll go with that, because I know he's not talking anything about Michael Thomas.
Yeah, right.
One of the best to do it. Okay. Any other receivers on your mind that you've been thinking about this offseason, that you're thinking about kind of week 1 issues?
I think I'm really interested to see how Denver's receivers look. I'm not necessarily going to say risky plays, but kind of risky plays. You don't know yet, so I'm excited to see what it looks like. It's Russ against Seattle, so
he's going to cook.
He's going to cook, but that's, I think, what it comes down to is who's going to be the number 1, who's going to be the 2, and does Hamler sneak up and kind of take something away from Jeudy? Because even with Judy's separation stats, Tim Patrick was the better performer.
Yeah, I'm all in with you on that one. I think, for me, the safest play out of the whole thing is Courtland Sutton.
100%.
I think it just is one of those. I talked about this earlier in the offseason. I think Courtland's skill set and Russ Wilson's play style are perfect for each other. I think they're going to be a great combination this season, and I think he has wide receiver 1 upside.
Yeah.
Now, do I expect it? I don't think so. I have him in the top 12, but he could very well finish, fine with where you drafted him. But I think the potential is there way more than there is for a Jeudy Surgeons to kind of be a top 10. Like, I think it's way more realistic for Courtland to be top 10 than Jeudy, if that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I agree. So I just pulled this up. They have, for this week, ESPN PPR has Jeudy at 22 and Sutton at 23. Kind of crazy.
I think it's just one of those, like, okay, we got to see what's gonna. We just talked like what's gonna happen week 1.
I would have Sutton over Jeudy.
I would too.
I mean, but it is kind of crazy that I feel like there's a lot of people kind of on that page where it's unknown. It's an unknown offense.
It really is, and it could be. They both could come away with top 15 numbers this season. Very realistic.
Right.
Russ has done it before multiple times. I wouldn't be surprised at all. Are you willing to play Darnell Mooney? Are you willing to play? I know Chris Godwin might play, but I think we all know the answer on that. Like, we're going to sit him. Okay, here's a good one. All right, so say you have Darnell Mooney, Elijah Moore, and Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Come on. You're starting Amon St. Brown. Like,
our love for Amon-Ra is there's too much. Okay, so let's go to the other 2, right? Elijah Moore and Darnell Mooney.
Mooney. Going to start Mooney. Yeah. I just there's enough talent for Flacco to throw to. He's got a decent tight end. He's got Davis, who, when he was healthy, was solid. You have Elijah Moore, and you have Garrett Wilson, first-round pick, where with the Bears, they got a box of Cracker Jacks and an expired can of Pringles. So you got Mooney. That's it. So he has to be
I think he'll easily, for me, I think he easily gets 140 targets this season.
Probably, yeah.
I don't
Might only
think
catch
that's-
50 of them, but he'll get 140.
Yeah, I don't think it's unrealistic. And I know you don't like this take. I truly think Justin Fields takes not a giant step forward, but a step forward enough for him to be fantasy relevant and Mooney to be a lot better than what he was last season. So those are kind of our receivers. Do you have any tight ends that you want to bring up about week 1?
I think the only other player to watch on the Bears is Kmet could be a sneaky play.
He could, yeah, against
like
San Francisco.
Yeah,
they're gonna have to throw the ball. I don't see how they won't. And I think again, it's Kmet and it's Darnell Mooney, and that's it, man. If Zach Ertz misses week 1,
yeah, would
you play Trey McBride?
It depends what are the other options. Like if it's him, or you could get somebody like a Higbee.
Okay, let's Irv Smith.
Irv Smith.
Okay, no hesitation on that.
But I feel like Higbee could be available. Noah Fant could be available. I think Higbee is a sneaky play, possibly.
Okay.
And then Noah Fant, I think Geno is going to end up dumping the ball. So where if Geno is the whole season, it's going to be interesting. I think Fant has a good season. Now, he did have good chemistry with DK, but I don't think I don't see them opening up the offense a ton. So I think Fant wouldn't be a terrible play either.
I like it. Yeah, that's an interesting one to me. If you have Zach Ertz, kind of hopefully you got a decent tight end too that you can plug in and not worry about it. But it's a lot of people took Zach. There was a big movement from what I saw this offseason. If you take a premier tight end, which Zach Ertz is a premier tight end, you don't draft a tight end too. We'll see. Hopefully he plays. Hopefully there's no setbacks.
He's an old man. Remember,
he's 28, ain't he?
He's 31.
31.
And
I'm 30. Come on.
Bro, I'm 34.
I am falling apart after 30. I'll tell you that.
I'm just saying, 31. Like, this could be the year he starts, kind of declining.
Yeah, it could be. So, in that case, go get Trey McBride. Do you have any other players you want to mention?
Any at all? I mean, I'm just excited for football.
We're excited to be back in the world.
All that money everyone spent on their fantasy drafts and their auction drafts, and all those people, including me, who spent between $65 and $75 on CMAC. Like, you just want to see what you paid for.
Yeah.
You're just excited for it.
Start
your studs. Yeah, start your studs.
That's a good way to look at it.
Start your studs.
Get ready. Buckle up. The football season is here, and we cannot wait. I'm pumped for tonight.
I'm getting anxious just thinking about it. I'm just like, football. There's going to be pig spin across my TV.
All right, people. We are going to get you out of here a little earlier than normal just because we want to get to – I don't care about Alex. I want to go watch this football game. So we are going to go put the tube on, get the chicken wings out, get the beer going. You can catch us on our Twitter.
I just wanted to play some football, mama.
Football, mama.
Play some
Go
football.
to our YouTube. Go to our Twitch over on that way. We're on all the major streaming platforms, iTunes, Spotify. Go check us out. TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff. Go check it out. For Alex, I'm Rob. Have a good week 1, everybody. We appreciate you.
Get it.